Good morning, everybody. Gareth from BTA here with another instalment of Aquatic News International for the week ending the 27th of October. So there's been quite a few different things happening in aquaculture this week. Although my subscriptions didn't really have a lot of gold in it. Casting further afield, I did find some fairly interesting articles that link in with some other stuff that I've been talking about recently. So let's jump in and have a look. So from Aquaculture Magazine, October 24th, Sustainable Aquaculture Growth Trends for 2025, focusing on the predicted growth of the global aquaculture market, driven by sustainability initiatives. Highlights key technologies enhancing sustainable practices, including AI and machine learning-based monitoring systems, which is something we talked about previously. Discusses the role of circular economy innovations like nutrient recovery and reuse from wastewater, as well as other waste streams as well, which is becoming more popular these days, but it's still an active revenue stream that nowhere near enough people are utilising. Identifies Asia as the top growing region with advancements in freshwater and mariculture systems, and I believe that the jump that they are experiencing is due to their adoption of more technologically advanced systems and better technology rather than older style production systems that they have commonly used, pond farming, things like that. Emphasises the importance of policy frameworks supporting sustainable infrastructure and sustainability, circular economy, all of these things. If you have a waste stream from aquaculture that you can capture, there is more than one way to value add that and then on-sell it or use it. Composting of mortalities, composting of sludge, reuse of water, nitrogen removal from water with aquaponics. There is a huge amount of possible options for your available waste streams. Moving on, again with AI with another mention. AI's role in precision aquaculture with next-gen solutions. This was published on October 23rd, 2024. In Aquatic News, so exploring how AI is revolutionising site selection, feeding strategies, and disease detection in aquaculture. Highlights case studies from Norway and Chile showing increased yields with AI-driven operational models. Discusses AI-powered sensors tracking water quality, fish behaviour, and real-time environmental conditions. Points out barriers like data privacy and the cost of AI implementation for smaller farms. Predictions for how AI will drive personalised aquaculture solutions by 2027. This is feeding, this is water quality, this is automation of water changes, this is monitoring trends with historical data to alarm of seasonal changes, upcoming, the possibilities are endless, especially with aquaculture and how it can link into AI, simply because the machine's already there. We're just teaching the LLM and the AI to talk to the machine, interpret the data, spit it out, and then control it, which can all be done very simply. That's like one of the very, very simple tasks that AI can do really, really easily. A lot of AI these days you can tell it what to do or what you want it to do, and it can write the code to then write the program to do it. Very interesting stuff. Integrated multi-trophic aquaculture, enhancing biodiversity and yield. Examines how integrated multi-trophic aquaculture is advancing environmental sustainability. It describes how IMTA is a system that combines finfish, shellfish, and seaweed farming to mitigate waste. So finfish obviously being the primary crop, shellfish and seaweed farming for removal of nitrogen, phosphorus, organic particles, and remediating the water to then send back to the fish. Clam systems and seaweed systems and stuff have been used for denitrification and things like that in similar systems in the past. So, focuses on recent success stories in Canada showing improved biodiversity and profitability. Notes the scalability challenges with IMTA in urban or coastal intensively farmed areas, and discusses the research on optimizing species combinations for different geographic regions. The benefit with integrated multi-trophic aquaculture is that it's very easy to find for your local area a species that does well in your local area, plus a shellfish that's doing well in your local area, and seaweed farming from Antarctic temperatures right up to tropical temperatures. You'll find a seaweed that you can utilize. And again, waste streams, shellfish, soil amendments from the lime produced from their shells, or grinding up their shell grit, seaweed for its multitude of uses, right from pharmaceutical and food through to bioplastics, plant biostimulants, everything like that. Global aquaculture feed global aqua feed market forecast, challenges and opportunities, published on the October 21st, 2024 in Fish Farming International. Offers insights into the global aqua feed market and its projected growth up to 2030. Now, the aqua feed market, very heavy focus on algae, insect and other protein supplements that are going into these that are actually proving to see some enhanced growth, as well as nutrition derived from fungi, bacteria, and different things like that. For instance, the active ingredient in Novak, in Ridley's Novak, is a biofloc-ish derived type of thing, from what I can work out from the descriptions. It's a bacterial mix type of stuff. But yes, very, 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 very advantageous. Identifies the rise of alternative proteins like insect meal and algae meal, discusses the ongoing challenge of balancing cost, nutrition and sustainability in feed production, reports a growing consumer demand for traceability, sustainable aquafeed ingredients, and also highlights investments in novel technologies like 3D printed feeds and bioengineered additives. Fantastic. Bioengineered additives, they're talking about manipulating the growing environment of microbes and things like that to actually produce high protein content, different enzymes and so on and so forth. Incredibly interesting stuff, and obviously the lower the cost of feed, the higher your profit margin is, and as fish becomes less scarce, we're going to and valuating the waste stream from hydrolyzing of fish waste and things like that is already being done as well. So it's a big turning point for waste streams in aquaculture, I believe, within the next 5 to 10 years. I've been banging on about it for 5 or 10 years now, that I just cannot believe that people do not, I'm trying to actively get people to put in composting systems for their aquaculture systems, for both their sludge and also their mortalities, so it's interesting how often horticulture and aquaculture actually intermix. Here we go. Seaweed farming, the unsung hero of carbon sequestration, October 26th. In Marine Science Today. Okay, so this explains how seaweed farming is emerging as a key player in carbon sequestration and ocean health. Obviously, it's a plant. It's an incredibly robust plant. Need I say more? I will, though. Provides data on the carbon absorption rates of different seaweed species. Discusses the co-benefits of seaweed farming, including habitat creation and nutrient cycling. Also highlighted is the potential for scaling the seaweed farms in countries like South Korea, Japan, and the US. Examines the rising interest of private investors in large-scale seaweed aquaculture. There's a lot of leases, tuna leases down in South Australia now that are incorporating seaweed farming into their leases, not only as a as an alternative revenue stream, but also to improve the water quality around their pens. Seaweed. Okay, so it lives in the ocean, so obviously it takes in the majority of the minerals from the ocean. This is why people have been burying seaweed underneath their plants to grow in their gardens for thousands of years. It's a biostimulant. It's incredibly good for you, so it's a health food, and obviously sushi, need I say more, and a variety of other foodstuffs as well. Interesting fact, the majority of some MSG that's actually created is isolated from seaweed. the umami flavour, the monosodium glutamate. It's actually extracted from seaweed. Biostimulants, alginate production, pharmaceuticals, food, using it as a feed additive, water remediation. Oh, I could go on. It's a wonder plant. There's that many different species of it. It really doesn't matter where you're farming, because you're probably going to find a seaweed locally that's going to grow in your area, or that can be used. And even if it's a low cost commodity, the biostimulant market for seaweed production is massive in horticulture. It's gigantic. I see seaweed production being incorporated into saltwater recirculating aquaculture systems, and even extensive systems now, as part of not only a alternative revenue stream, but also as waste remediation. Seaweed systems in raceway systems and things like that are already being utilised in prawn farms across Australia. So it's taking off, and it'll be quick. 5 to 10 years, that's my prediction. It'll be massive. I'm hoping to see a lot more saltwater aquaponic systems going in for water remediation of RAS systems. I don't see any reason why. I cannot believe we're not doing it right now, in fact. Okay, Recirculating Aquaculture Systems, new efficiency standards in 2024. Speaking my language here. Right, October 20th, 2024 outlines the latest advancements in recirculating aquaculture systems that are improving water efficiency. This comes from RAS Efficiency Standards 2024 from Aquaculture Engineering Today. Focuses on the integration of biofiltration, ozone treatment, and energy-efficient pumps in new RAS designs. Discusses how RAS is helping to decrease freshwater usage while minimising effluent discharge, which is exactly what it's always been designed to do, as well as saltwater. Reviews case studies for commercial RAS farms in Europe and North America, highlights the importance of continuous R&D to overcome the high capex and operational costs of RAS. Yes. I also see a trend in lower or medium density systems. Running predominantly on aeration, low head, airlift, and things like that, for the production of more hardy species as well. I think that is going to be a big thing for the development of RAS. So essentially taking the home aquaponic size and just beefing it. I do say, however, we should also be focusing on, in Europe, especially Skagen salmon, for one, is just pushing ahead big time for land-based salmon production. We should be taking these designs and seeing how we can utilize the approach that these guys are using to minimize it into smaller and medium size splinter cell production systems. It's not hard. In fact, the majority of my designs for biological filtration things actually, revolve around, miniaturizing commercial equipment for aquariums and things like that. So it's good to see RAS is being talked about it is being talked about every day, and it's being talked about just as much as extensive farming production systems. So it's a win as far as I'm concerned. Okay, elephant in the room, addressing aquaculture's antibiotic challenges, alternatives in 2024. Okay, so I see the industry going back to probiotics, have seen it for the last 10 years. It's proven to work. Disease prevention is better than cure, obviously. Antibiotics are required sometimes, just like they are with larger animals and things like that. But their use needs to be careful and carefully monitored and mitigated at all costs if possible. So it examines the global issue of antibiotic overuse in aquaculture and its impact on resistance. Introduces biological alternatives such as probiotics, prebiotics, and immunostimulants for disease prevention. Biosecurity and filtration cannot be understated here. If you have multiple tanks hooked together, you need some sort of biosecurity measure, whether it be UV, ozone, or both. That's just the facts. Quarantine systems, next level again. Identifies key markets like shrimp and tilapia where non-antibiotic therapies are beginning to dominate. They have been for ages. This is nothing new. Discusses the regulatory push from the European Union and US to reduce antibiotic use in farmed fish. Highlights ongoing research into vaccines as a preventative method against bacterial infections in aquaculture. I believe that incoming water treatment, both in extensive and intensive aquaculture with ozone and UV to get it to the best quality possible that it can. Obviously, this is going to be determined by your source water quality, but there's more than enough studies that have been done, even on extensive prawn farms where they're, ozonizing water to 700 to 900 millivolts, and the growth rate impacts the stability of the ponds, the reduction of waste, the regulating of the algae blooms and the flocks. Everything is just massively improved. There is an economy of scale there, obviously, but it can be done on small scale. It's not impossible. Aquaculture and the blue economy, maximising ocean resources responsibly. Okay, so October 21st, 2024, from the Blue Economy Journal. Discusses the intersection of aquaculture with the blue economy, emphasising responsible ocean resource management. Explores the potential for offshore aquaculture to reduce environmental pressure on coastal zones. Introduces innovative platforms for integrating offshore wind farms with aquaculture systems. Analyses the economic scalability of offshore aquaculture in regions like the Mediterranean and Southeast Asia. Stresses the importance of cross-sector partnerships to create synergies between energy and food systems. Now, offshore fish farming is akin to cattle farming on land. Let's just make that distinction right there. Also, arguably, because the Earth is covered by 90+% water, that farming practices within the ocean would be more responsible than on land, and maximising stock and density on land to maximises nutrient output that then runs into the ocean. So it's a knife's edge. It's a catch-22. The point I'm making is that ocean ranching isn't dead. Ranching, farming, everything, it isn't dead. It can be done responsibly. It can be done very effectively, and it can be done cleanly. There are more technologies out there available today that are showing that this is possible. I see that there might be a possible move with regulations that might say that you need to incorporate a certain amount of seaweed ranching to go along with your sea cage production to mitigate nutrient and things like that, which then enhances biodiversity in the area and so on and so forth. It can actually be a very good thing if it's done properly, just like biofarming, biodiversity in cattle farming and things like that. If it's done properly, it's actually really good for the land if it's done properly. Aquaculture biotechnology, CRISPR and gene editing in 2024. So October 23rd, 2024. Now, this is from Biotech Aquaculture Review. And explores the latest advancements in CRISPR and other gene editing technologies for aquaculture. Focuses on projects aimed at improving disease resistance, growth rates, and feed conversion ratios in aquatic species. Discusses ethical concerns and regulatory challenges around gene editing in aquaculture. Highlights successful trials in modifying shrimp and salmon genetics for enhanced performance. And looks forward to scalable applications of CRISPR in selective breeding programs by 2026. Now, is this a genetically modified organism? Is it not? Is GMO necessarily a bad thing if we're removing bad stuff? Okay, human disease and gene mutation is one of them. Through IVF, those faulty genes that are presenting can be taken out, so that genetically historical diseases like motor neurone diseases and things like that, that have the potential to be passed on by you to your children or your children to their children, can be removed and completely ended, so that you don't have to deal with that anymore. It can be a good thing, again, if it's done responsibly. Now, it's been a week in aquaculture. I cast my net pretty wide this week for some fairly interesting stuff. I hope it was interesting to you guys. I will be utilising these sources a lot more from now on, rather than just the main publications that I usually get. And hence why the subjects are a little bit more involved, a little bit more niche, but also very important. And something that I think the majority of people within the industry probably wouldn't go out of their way to search for, either know it exists or be able to access it. So there we go. Hope you enjoyed this week's ANI. I hope you all have a good week, and we'll see you for 5-minute fundamentals during the week. See ya.